what God doing to America. It's like everybody now tries to put the messenger on the back burner. He's never mentioned as if he's the one who sounded the alarm for the white man. And the people in particular that I'm talking about is the low-life Israelites. Because they the main ones who I'm getting at. Them low-life Israelites. Because now it's popular in America to say you the true Jew. And all of these Israelites is taking the teachings of the messenger and adding it to the Jew stuff. So now they can pretend like the prophecies in the Bible according to the Jews is coming true. One of the main so-called prophecies that they love to talk about in the Bible is when Deuteronomy talk about these curses. Where the black man is supposed to be cursed because we broke the laws of God. So because we broke the laws of God, Deuteronomy talks about how the black man supposedly is going to be cursed. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the black man was never cursed. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the black man was never cursed.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the black man was never cursed.
यार इंस्टाग्राम पर कुछ लोग कितना अच्छे हैं ना, जैसे कि मैं।
Muhammad taught us that the black man was never cursed.
Stepping on shit, so they call me a giant. The chopper gon' sing in this bitch, keep Wyatt. Fatal too white, I can't step in the mud. Niggas on demons outside with them slug up some things they be on it, they kill up for drugs. That's the sound of the drum. I know you gon' run, cause your ass can't hide. Switch out my wings, 30 inches to vibe. Cherry bear do my nuts, take my shit to the gods. With the best on my losses, I'm beating the odds.
We are not a cursed people. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that a black scientist named Yakub made an enemy for the black man. That enemy was given 6,000 years to rule. That's what's going on today. What's going on today is not a curse from God on the black man. Because the black man don't have his own. Because the black man was robbed of a knowledge of self. Because the white man owned everything and we ain't got nothing. That's not God cursing us. That's God made an enemy to rule the black man for 6,000 years. Now, messenger, he got the truth. So he didn't have to do what bus stop and them do. Try to force the black man. Be all out in the street like how they do harassing the black. No. Be courteous, polite. Teach that. Be courteous, polite. Yes, sir, no, sir. Muhammad speaks. Simple and plain. But that simple truth began to force the black man to change. That's what the messenger said about the truth. He said the truth that Master Farad Muhammad taught him is so strong that the little bitty piece of it that you hear will force you to change. Yes.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Recha HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brethren, you fellow believers of this truth, and shalom to the elect. So anyway, I got this video shared, Apostle Tahar channel. What is the 666 Mark II? The truth. And I went on and took a look at this video. I was like, what the heck is this video? And I see this crazy Muslim standing here, and then he goes into the Israelites. And I said, oh, okay, this is what's going on. So I said, I got to do a video on this, because the NOI, I see he got a picture of Bishop Nathaniel, who, for whatever reason, they have united with these guys, unless there's different factions inside the NOI as well. I don't know. This is all weird. So anyway, this man says what Elijah Muhammad says, not the Quran, right, which means to recite, not anything that says in there, which we see no prophecies in there that's dealing with this. And then he quotes Farad Muhammad, who's supposed to be an Ottoman Turk or a white man, right? So Yakub is a black geneticist who created, and that's another reason why I want to do this video, because we had three different kind of Muslims. We had a Muslim blitz, and all three of them in different doctrines came up. We dealt with them, and the Jakes, the so-called black men, they got the worst of it all. This proves that we're under the curse. Yakub, come on, dog. Yakub is supposed to have been this alien being. I believe they said a black man. I don't know. I hear conflicting stories. Who decided to create the white man to be a curse to us, but yet there was a white man that brought him the Nation of Islam. Somebody make that make sense. But again, this is what they're teaching. So in this lesson, we're going to show you that we don't need Farad Muhammad. We don't need Elijah Muhammad, right? These are all nut jobs, man. If you can't prove it out, this is another thing I noticed too. Whenever they got somebody that plasters their leader up on the board, I'm not saying this didn't happen to Old One West, I don't know. But we don't plaster our leaders up, I'm saying in 2020, 2025 now, and put a big picture of a big bulletin up of them and show them as this great leader. And if you're going to show him as a great leader, what information is he bringing according to what the Most High said? Not according to what Farad Muhammad said. See, these are all holes in these crazy-ass doctrines. So, first, we got to break down the fact about the curses. We already know I'm going to Deuteronomy, but I want to go in the book of 1 Samuel first. 1 Samuel 2 and 7. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He raises up the poor out of the dust and lift them up and lift up the beggar, right, from the dunghill, right, to set them among princes. This is what the Lord has done with this man that runs this system, right? He lifted them up and he gave them their time and their power, right? This doesn't make sense to this man talking about that we are not under a curse, but there was a man created to oppress us. I don't understand how oppression and losing of an identity and a heritage is not a curse. I don't know about that. I don't know how that works. You're oppressed. You got rapping women with guns in their pouch, right? Where you're supposed to have beautiful women, right, with dresses and at least looking modestly, right? I don't know. This is crazy. No other nation has this kind of behavior going on. Where's the sexy red of China? You know what I'm saying? You don't see that. Or of Russia. Some of them might try to mimic stuff, but they're not like that on that level. Let's go on. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 15. We got to go over this. This is milk, but we go over it. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Another thing I find weird, things coming to my mind as I go on in the lesson, and nobody puts them on these lists. I'm talking about the NOI, and nobody says they're the hate group and they're the worst people going, and they so-called have the same so-called dislike for Edom as we do, which they don't have the same, but according to their doctrine. But there's no push to fight against them. Where's all the videos on them? You have some Christians come against them, but on the most part, now they got these guys set up to come against us. See, as long as we're not saying we're one of them, nobody has an issue. But when we start saying, hey, we're one of them, oh boy, that's a problem, right? That's what I see. Nobody has a problem with the black conscious community. Nobody has a problem with the NOI. Nobody talks bad about the Black Panther community, the Black Panther Party. What all those things got, all those sects got in common is they believe this man is who he is and evil, but they're not claiming to be someone else that's in power. That's where the problem comes, and that's why the shakedown is on them to come against us, right? It says, cursed shall be the fruit of the body and the fruit of the land, the increase of the kine and the flocks of thy sheep. We lost all our heritage. We lost our heritage, which goes to our land, right? Now they got the playing things, the best I'm going to say, it's set up all over the goddamn country, mainly in the inner city, downtown areas. So wherever you Israelites are from, that's why they have what you call downtown, because downtown is the branch off from north, south, east, and west. You can get to any part of the city quicker through downtown. That's why it's called downtown, under the town, right? That's the branch off to everywhere. So they set those playing things right there in the middle of the city, downtown, for the Eves to come from all locations and line up and get the baby snatched. Anyway, and this goes through at different portions of time, by the way. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. Right? No matter what job you get, right? No matter where you go, after all these years, the only progress we've made is to get in some form of position or rank. Right? Maybe even own a couple of businesses here and there. And we would call ourselves successful. But you own no stocks, right? You hardly have any collateral because you're still paying on a lot of that. Your savings you think is good, but you almost have no generational wealth. Yeah. But we're not under curse. Even you Muslims shouldn't believe that. God damn. What do you think this is? Let me jump on down to verse 43. I'm not going to read all of this, obviously. Verse 43. Where am I at? It says, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt be come down very low. Right? This man was at the low part of the pole, and the Lord raised him up to put him over us. Right? He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. So we got to go to the banks and ask for loans. And you might say, well, it's a black man in there lending to a white man. That's not what that's talking about, right? That black man is still under the authority of the elites, the elite bankers, the one who owns basically those chains. They will never let you jakes own any of that. They'll let you run it. They'll even let you be CEOs to some degree. But at the end of the day, you never own that. Right? You remember what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma? They so-called build their own properties. The problem was the land that they built it on still belonged to this man. It belonged to the white man. It still belonged to him. This is why when they put your houses in place, they give you what you call a basement. And then they set it up to be comfortable. It's set up to be comfortable for your family and your wait time. But you done bought that house and you can't even move it because it has a basement. And that basement is in the foundation of the ground, and that property that house sits on still belongs to the bankers. So you never get out of it. You see what I'm saying? You claim you own your house, you're still paying taxes. Right? That's why it's called, actually it talks about being a tenant. Anyway, let's go to, I'm going to jump to 48 and just try to skim through this a little bit. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee. Let me go to 48. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So, we see these things have happened. The Christians and the scholars, which are not prophets, but they will go in here and read the scholarly comments, and they'll say, this happened in Babylon. Nobody will never associate with this with the transatlantic slave trade. But why would they? We were reading. Eventually, they didn't want us to catch wind of that. It's crazy how they managed to separate Jew and Christian when the Christians were Jews. But anyway, not a lot to say on that. Now, there's things, Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, there's no new thing under the sun. There's things that have happened to us in different eras of time. The same thing repeating itself. We don't have the physical yokes, but we have the spiritual yokes upon our neck. So the reason why I'm showing these videos, because you don't have any God family structure. The fathers are out of the home. This is all divine plan. So this man is a complete fool, right? I mean, you got to know that it's still a curse. Whether Yakub was created to curse you or not, it's still a damn curse. But as I did the video, I just wanted to make more out of it, because this guy's he's a nut job. Verse 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even into the other, and thou shalt serve other gods, right, which neither nor thy fathers have known in wood and stone. So he scattered us. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling of heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. When you look at the women and their behavior, that's a sorrow of heart, man. What is the other one? It's another one I wanted to get. Verse 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, right, like that rapping woman and the sexy red, which would not have ventured to set a sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward her husband of her bosom, right, and toward the son and toward the daughter, and toward her husband in the bosom, and toward her son and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she will eat them for want of all things, which is going back to the seeds secretly in the seeds of the straightness. So this happened, but our eyes still evil towards her husband, right, and her children. And the Lord shall bring, 68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, right? Egypt just means simple word of bondage. Exodus 20 says that. By the way that I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there thou shalt serve thine enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, where no man shall buy you, meaning no man shall redeem you. Right? So who else is that fit? And let's say, oh, it happened in 70 AD when under General Titus. This is every Christian's that's every Christian's answer for what the scholar said. But when you look at the slave ships and what we went through on those slave ships, that was the curse. When you go back and let's say that did happen, there should have been no reason to mention slave ships, right? First of all, we didn't need them, but you shouldn't have really been a great mention of them as a big deal, because a whole lot of nations is born on slavery by foot, you know, by horses, or even today. However, you when you're captured and you're transported to another state, right? Extradited. There's no big deal about that on the traveling, because hey, they're not going to mention in your statement of charges that and all the things you did that, yeah, he came on a plane. The reason why the slave ship was mentioned, right, and this is where Egypt goes to bondage, which this is what this place is. The reason why it was mentioned because the hell we caught on them slave ships. And it's really disgusting to see grown so-called black people, and even some that claim to be Christians, look at this and just write it off as it had nothing to do with what the Lord did. We just read that in 1 Samuel. Let me get another scripture real quick. Amos, we all know this one. But this is the same thing I read in 1 Samuel 2 and 7. Is it Amos 9 and 6? Let me see. And you know, these people are supposed to be God-fearing Muslims. And they're supposed to follow the Bible, some of them. They believe the Bible is a good book, but they believe there's a lot of false interpretations. So then they merge another interpretation of Muhammad, who's seen Gabriel the angel seen him while laying on a rock or something, and now that's supposed to be the correct interpretation. But we keep asking them to read one prophecy out of the Quran, but that's why they go to the Bible. So isn't that confusing? Why would the Lord allow one book, his own corrupted book, to be acceptable with another book, to make it one book? So why are we calling it the Quran? And why are we calling it the Holy Bible? The Lord is not an author of confusion. This is how you make the good book correction. You got to merge the Quran with the Holy Bible. What kind of sick madness is that? Merging religions because the Bible is so corrupt. No, you just don't understand it. Anyway, behold, the eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. That's what he said. You know what I'm saying? That's what he said. He's going to destroy it. It's the Lord's show. It's not Yakub. So now that Yakub is reigning for 6,000 years, so the Allah, right, he's just out of the way. He's got nothing to do with it. The scripture says, shall the trumpet be blown in the city, and the Lord have not done it. You know, I just wanted to get this video and get some edification out of it on the topic about the Bible and the Quran, and you know, all the weird stuff that he's saying, that it's not you know, he's talking about the Bible, or he's talking about the Hebrew Israelites, how we go out and we got to be soft spoken. Isaiah 58 says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up the voice like a trumpet. So you got to talk to people a certain way, which we don't yell at people. But where are they out teaching? They gather together in suits and bean pies and go stand on one little corner if you see them. Where are they at? That's all I have on that. Shalom.